All right, this is a straight up ordering game. We're just trying to figure out the order of these solos. The first rule, so that means we have 6 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. First rule, G does not perform the fourth solo. Okay, so G is not here. I'm going to write that below because it's a negative rule. P performs at some time before K. All right, P is before K. Thank you. Then it says K performs at some time after V. So K is after V, which means V is before it. Then it says N at some time before G. N before G. Then it says S is at some time after either P or T, but not both. So if S is after P or T, but not both, then that means if S is after P, then it has to be before T. And if it's after T, then it has to be before P. In other words, it's going to come in between these two variables, and we don't know who's going to come before S, but we know that one of them's got to come before and one of them's got to come after. That's why I got to put the arc to show that they're going back and forth. So either P's going to be up here and T's going to be back here, or vice versa. Alrighty. There are other ways to write this rule. If you prefer, you can write it like this: TP, which is basically saying the exact same thing. You're going to have one of them up here and you're going to have one of them back there. I don't necessarily have a preference for one over the other. I tend to write this one because it requires less writing, but either one is fine. Now that we're done writing the rules, we have to figure out who are the floaters. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are no floaters because all 6 variables appear in the rules. The next question is, who's the most constrained variable? G is by far the most constrained variable because 3 things have to come before it, and it's said it can't be fourth. So for that reason, G cannot be here, 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 or here, because these 3 things have to come before it. So I'm never going to see G in these first 4, so G has to go in the last 2, which is either there or there. So G is either 5 or 6. Should we create worlds on the basis of G being in 5 or 6? That's a toss-up. I don't think so, because even when G is in 5, which is the most helpful scenario, notice that we still don't necessarily know where PKV goes, because you could put them in any sort of arrangement. It's not like you could do P, K, V would have to be before K, but V could be before or after P. Bottom line, there's a lot of flexibility here. So even if I know that G is in 5, I don't necessarily know a lot more, so it doesn't make sense to make worlds on the basis of G being in 5 or G being in 6. So I'd stop there, go into the questions. Question 1, which of is acceptable ordering? The best thing to look at is probably G, because it's the one we made an inference about. So G's got to be in 5 or 6. Does that get rid of any? That gets rid of A, because it's in 4. That gets rid of E, because it's in 1. So A and E are gone. What else do we have? We have PV before K. PV before K. That's fine in B. PV before K. That's fine in C. PV before K. Ooh, that's not good in D. So D is out because of the PVK rule. We're left with B and C. Let's take a look. It's probably going to be this rule. So S has got to be in between P and T, not necessarily in that order. It could be TSP. But that is a problem for B because P and T both come before S. So B is wrong because of this rule right here. The answer must be C. Question 2. If P performs the solo at some time before S does. Question 2 says P is before S. P is before S, which of mine must be true? Well, we know that if P is before S, then T does have to come after. We also know that K comes after P, which comes before G, and that comes after V. Can we make any other inferences? Not necessarily. T or G could be last, P or V could be first. Which of mine must be true? Must be true. P performs first. No, it doesn't have to. V could be. P performs second. Sure, it could be. It doesn't have to be. V performs a solo at some time before S. No, it doesn't have to. It could be PVS, but it could also be PSV. This bottom set of variables could all come after S. There's no problem with that. The P performs at some time before T. Oh geez, that's the first inference we made, but so yeah, there we go. That's the answer. P has to be before T. So the answer is T. Question number 5, the next if question. If V performs fourth. So let's do this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If V is 4, what do we know about V? Well, we know that K and G have to come after it. So this is K, this is G. Now the question is, who's left? PST is left, although we don't necessarily know the order, so it's going to be PST with an arc going back and forth. Each of the following must be true except, so which one does not have to be true? P is before V. Yes, always true, regardless of whether it's here or here, P is before V. T is before V, same thing. These two answers, by the way, are logically equivalent as far as I can tell. Oh, no, not necessarily, because P is before K. Sorry, distraction, don't worry about that. Anyways, T is at some time before V, it must be, so that's wrong. T is before G, yes, that must be, so it's wrong. S is before V, yes, that must be, so it's wrong. T is before S. Doesn't have to be, because T could come after S or before S, we don't know. This does not have to be true, that's why E is correct. Now the non-if questions, 3 and 4. Each of the following must be false except, so which one could be true? This is just going back to the original rules. Could K perform the solo first? Never, so that cannot be true. That is something that must be false. G performs second. Could never happen because you have to have at least 3 before it. G performs it sometime before S. G before S. Could G be before S? Well, G has to be in the last 2. And if it were here, could you put S there? No, because something would have to come after S, either T or P. So we can never have G before S. All right, G before P. No, P is before G. K is before S. K is before S. Doesn't seem like it has to be. We could do P, S, V, K, right? We actually think we saw this up here. We could do P, S, V, K, P, S, V, K, T, G. So E does not have to be true. K does not have to come before S. It could come after, and thus it is correct. Oh wait, did I do 4? Which one following cannot perform the third solo? Well, this G can't be third because it's got to have at least 3 before it, and it's got to be in 5 or 6, and they give us G. So that is the answer. That's also a relatively easy game. There's some things I think about the wording that could trip you up when you're trying to set up your diagram. So make sure to slow down, get the rules right, and then go fast. Don't go fast and then slow. Go slow and then fast. Good luck.